Hello and welcome back to In My Image. This is not exactly a conversion update video, it's more of a conversion showcase video. Someone in the comments asked me to show off a few observer games, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I have at least around 10 completed observer games, and I might show you around, I don't know, 6 to 8 or something, because they are the more relevant the later I made them. So this is how the world looks, normally, 1444, for reference. Haven't done anything to North America, nothing to South America, a little bit to Indonesia, but you still have these smaller nations here, like Bhutan and Ternate, or Ternate. The rest are completely Mongolified. Africa, we have the Europeans here. These are all Mongols, this is a Mongol, these are all Mongols. No standard Africans are left, really. Well, except for the ones mixed up in these three. So let's take a look at the observer games. I have quite a few here, so let's start by looking at a few of the really old ones. I can also tell you what's changed since then. This is the first one I have, I think. The oldest one. The game is mostly gonna be different when you're looking at America. And I think in these first observer games, it's also... no, this one is in the Age of Resurgence, so... Here you have one where Bayadia survived. I have to say that I have never ever made a mod for a converted game with like an outcome this unpredictable. Not two of these observer games have a world that looks the same. There are a few common occurrences, like Korchia being strong, for example, but otherwise it's pretty much completely random, which bodes well for the campaign, seeing as that means I can't divine what's going to happen ahead of time. In this one, Bayadia survived. We have massive nations. Towards the end of the game, the nations are gonna be really large. So you can see here, all of Europe is basically Dax, Horkedag, Orenburg, Ashenyeha, I think. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, really. Karkapua. America, this is before I did changes to America. So as you can see, this is mostly colonial nations and no natives left. And some formable nations that I have removed, like Peru. I removed all the formable North and South American nations because they simply made no sense. And made them another decision that does the exact same thing when it comes to tax in the capital and stuff like that. Oh, and in this one the Europeans survived and thrived even. This is not necessarily a common sight, but back when I made this observer game, they were way more powerful. Their ideas were literally overpowered. Now they are just very strong, as you saw in the last update. And religion-wise, in this one, looks like Norse is the most powerful one, at least in the old world, except for Europe, which is a mess. Well, it usually is. And the religion map mode is not exactly super trustworthy either, because Tengrileg Odd can harmonize with religions, and Tengri can syncretize with them. So yeah. Let me show you a more recent one. Not that much more recent, but slightly more recent. This was the one we looked at. This one is next up. Fortunately, my computer is fairly quick when it comes to loading saved games. I've got everything on SSDs to make sure the game runs as quickly as possible. There we go. I really like that Australia... You know, because in the mod I'm using, the name can be Queensland, because I think there's a place in Australia called Queensland, or Kingston, and this time it became Khansland. Well, very fitting, because it's Mongols. In this one, Bayadia was completely disintegrated, as can be seen, and look at this is completely different from last time. I mean, sure, Audagast Niord is still around, but not as strong as in the last one. And, Korchia is still around, but pretty disintegrated. We have always a different Britain. This time it's Essex, or Essex, really. And we have Novgorod and Novgorod, Bogorchu, Arkai, yeah, you can see for yourself. And America looks pretty cool. There's a mixture of colonial nation and native. Arapaho, big totemist. I made a new decision since last time. It's actually the only update to the mod I've made that allows natives to reform to an old world religion if they have a neighbor that they like. That means that they can become Tengri or Tengerleg Odd or something. Which doesn't mean that they abandoned their totemist roots. Instead they will syncretize or... what's it called when Tengri... Oh yeah, harmonize or syncretize. Navajo, Apache still around. We have some Shia community of Californias. I've removed these names because I think that they do not translate well to Victoria 2. And seeing as the Mongols are not that big into religion, having these names isn't exactly optimal, I would say. So none of these will probably be like Cascadia and California and stuff instead of that. We have some Yucatan and some landings. Well, yeah, this is Colerain's landing, which means that the dynasty was Colerain upon the founding of this from looks like Brittany. Whatever it is, it's completely disintegrated by now and has even lost its cores as far as I can see. Oh, we also have Revolutionary Uvas. This is amazing. Great Republic. Revolutionary Republic. Fantastic. Uvas Grand River, Uvas Peru. Yeah, Uvas has colonized South America. In this one, the Europeans were unfortunately extinguished. The culture is still around. So you can see it's very variable what happens. Religion-wise, yeah, you can see Sikri won out big. Norse, powerful, Shia in the east, Tengri God. Still some Catholics here being harmonized by the Delki, or syncretized with the Delki. They get, what do they get? Advisors and diplomatic reputation. At least it's still around, you know. That doesn't always happen. Let's see, so this time it's number 4. Well, the third one I'm showing you, but apparently the one I've numbered 4. The last number there is my own numbering. Let's see if this will load. Yes. So we should start nearing the time where I've solved the issues with North and South America. Well, this one got a few pretty powerful nations, New Nogaya. None of these saves so far have the thing where free colonial nations get claims on all of North or South America. So in the later saves, these nations will be a bit bigger, and because you can see the old world nations are all pretty big, right? They blob quite a bit. So I want the Americas to keep up, so they can be competitive in Victoria. This one, Europeans unfortunately got eaten as well, and Audugast Niord has been eliminated. And interestingly enough, there's actually a tribal despotism. So tribalism is still strong in Europe, which is not exactly optimal, I think, for, you know, technology and whatever, but whatever fits them, I suppose. And Constantine has taken over the Byzantine area, Turkey and Greece and the Balkans. Karparm, yeah, it's always different. And Bayadia did not make it. I mean, Bayadia is definitely gonna be the only constant when we are playing. We can trust that Bayadia will be around, because hopefully I will not end up being annexed, even though it is possible to happen. Religion-wise, Sikri again in Europe, Norse, Tengri, lots of Tengri. And America, as usual, a big mess. Just the way we like it. Time to take a look at the next one. Let's see, it should be this one. I think these two are the same, so I'm gonna go with test IMI. And I made this to test the Victoria 2 converter to make sure it worked. I've already prepared all the cultures and religions and stuff for conversion, because I don't want to play this campaign and then find out that I can't convert. So I've made sure that I can, and it works perfectly. In this one, Bayadia is still around, though under personal union with Koriltan. Koriltan is Bayad, so, well, I guess that's okay then. Bayadia just migrated into Koriltan. Maybe there's more Bayads. Oh, those are the Bayads. And again, we have a different Europe. There's always someone different in Great Britain. So far it hasn't been Megaginia though. Poor Megaginia. Chamond. This is actually an Irish nation that has migrated down to Spain in this game. That's pretty funny. Susni, Al-Alta, Karkotan, South China. Lots of interesting stuff. Europeans eliminated. This one we have a big Potiguara. At least this is one of the saves where the natives can expand freely with events towards the end of the game if it's uncolonized. Oh yeah, you can clearly see that with Iroquois and Powhatan. Great power-wise, I don't think one of them are in the great power lists, but they can be. The Native Americans can grow really strong, and that's quite interesting because having two factions instead of just Mongols, so we have like the native North Americans and the Mongols, makes it quite a bit more interesting in Victoria and eventually Hoi. Again, Audegast Niord has gotten absolutely destroyed. And in this one, we have Gan Piers, which has dominated the area. They are number 1. 2,000 development, just look at that. They probably got some really good ideas. Oh, they started out with army tradition and discipline. Then they got production, reinforced speed, land maintenance modifier, construction cost, trade efficiency, manpower recovery speed, legitimacy, and national manpower modifier. They actually didn't get an increased army size or anything. I would have suspected that, seeing as they were so powerful. And then again we have Khan's land down here. Pretty interesting. Alright, next up is this one. I mean, the results are very interesting to me. I couldn't have dreamt of this result when I made the mod, that it would always be this different. Because it's exactly what I wanted. And that makes me really happy. Oh, in this one, Australia has been colonized by a nation at empire level with a queen. So it's Khatun's land. So this is kind of Queen's land. Or Khatun's land. I mean, it's an amazing name. Bayadia, once again, destroyed. But, oh, look at the African power here. Megaderia taking over most of East Africa and Arabia. Karpusen here, and otherwise no really strong Europeans. Korcha is strong, but getting absolutely wrecked by Arkai. Megaderia is number 1, Korcha number 2, and being slaughtered. Followed by Karpusen Todogen. Oh, right, the Chinese Viking, or syncretic Viking even. This nation starts out as Norse and has flipped to Tengri. Very interesting. What is America like? Argentina? Oh, this is when I disabled all the formable nations. And I also removed the cultural naming before the actual names. So instead of it saying, for example, Karpusen Argentina, it just says Argentina. And, well, these just make the names look better. Makes them look like real colonial nations. So Argentina, a native Tapuya, Bahia, Lima, Muisca, Cagataya, Guyana. Shia community of Mexico here, interesting. Pueblo, strong Chickasaw. Nova Braganca, Cado, New Tamaulipas again? No, not again. Cagatai's landing. Yeah, Cagataya and... Oh, they've actually moved here. This is actual Cagataya. I don't remember where they start, but somewhere here, I think. Interesting. And Japan has colonized all of the East, named it various variants of Shia community. This is the main reason why I removed the naming, because it was so consistent. Oh, and a tiny little Mexico here. No, right, this is also Mexico. Religion-wise, well, this time the Norse dominate the South Americans and the Totemists dominate North America. Interesting. The colonization of America differs wildly depending on if it's Europe or Asia that gets, or Africa for that matter, that gets the Renaissance. Not exactly sure where all of it spawned this time, not in Africa. Seems like it was an Asian one. That's probably why the North American natives, yeah, in India here. North American natives managed to form big nations, and as well as Tapuya. Take a look at the next one. I think this is the one. 37. If it isn't, I beg your forgiveness. Yeah, if Europe gets the Renaissance, they tend to go colonizing earlier. But the lack of a Portugal, which is completely intentional from my side, makes it so they colonize later. But they do colonize way quicker, because I remade the colonial ideas to be more colony-focused. Look at this massive Massachusetts here. Grand Republic. They're free as well. Fighting... they are reconquering Itza. This is one of the nations who has cores all over the place. As you can see, they have hardly taken all of them, but they have expanded into Mexico. Which is perfect, because that leaves them really strong for Victoria. Something to rival the USA. And I don't think their cores... They don't get cores, sorry. They get claims. And the claims do not convert over to Victoria, I think. We have Oregon, and Mergen Mongol, Alaska. Comanche, Creek. We have the Virgin Isles, having been... No, they have their capital in these areas. Virgin Isles is a name you only get if you have a queen when you colonize this area. Not super common. And the West Indies, of course. In South America we have a massive Potiguara. Interesting. I think they might even... No, they're not a great power. Unfortunate. They look like they might be. They were... Oh, was Massachusetts up here? Yes, Massachusetts is a great power. Look at that. That's actually pretty impressive. I like it. In Europe we have Horkedag and Alkmarid. This is a very interesting split here. Not sure what the AI was working with when they decided upon those borders. Gloyaga in Great Britain this time? Alright. Many of these tags I haven't even seen myself. They're like secondary tags that are converted over as vassals, and then they get free and take over everything. A big mess here with Jamigai Nikure, which has turned from a republic to an administrative monarchy. Arapata, Bayadia gone again. Oh, the Europeans survived this time under the Sunni Bejoburg. They usually do better when they are Sunni than when they are Catholic, because at least then they have friends, they have Muslim friends. Bartan here, dominating Eastern Asia. And the new Siamis land. Not sure what a Siamis is, but whatever it is, it's probably some sort of Mongol title for some sort of government. Probably a theocracy. Maybe a Tengri theocracy? Not sure. Pretty interesting one. Religion-wise, you can see it's Shia, Norse. Europe is always a wild card. Lots of Norse here as well. Right, let's take a look at the next one. We're nearing the most recent ones I've made. I think this one might be just a few days old. And thus very representative of the final product. Naturally, when I convert to Victoria 2, I'm going to have to clean the borders up, especially in America. Because stuff like Arapaho being split just won't do it. But I'll take that when the time has come. So here we have a big Kiowa, Huron, Powhatan, Shawnee, Arapaho, Abenaki, Pueblo. They did a poor job colonizing. Actually, they didn't. As you can see here, they did colonize all the coasts. Because they're Mongol cultured. But unfortunately, they got reconquered, which is pretty interesting. Pretty impressive. And this is when the natives could convert to an old world religion. And I noticed that as soon as I gave them the option of being able to do that, they started doing way better. So Powhatan, Tengelegod. And they have not just harmonized with Totemist. Maybe they just flipped, actually. I'm not sure. Oh, and here we have a big Kagatai's landing. Though it's impossible to see the borders between them, Kagataya, and Brazil. I actually think Brazil might be the bigger one. Yeah, I converted this one to Victoria 2 to test the integrity of the save. And I think Brazil was the bigger one here. Lebatu has taken over Africa. Very big. Pretty nice borders here. except for Sartul being a little tumor in Bugidaya, I approve of the borders. Bayadia is around. Actually, a very uncommon sight. With a vassal and a few tributaries. Guglug also survived with their militarized monarchy. They don't survive as often as I thought they would. Mengu Timuria under heavy siege. Mengu Timuria also dissolves quite often. It's pretty interesting. I would never have expected some of the more powerful nations to consistently disappear from my overnights. Oh, South America is definitely Sikri in this one. Let's take a look. And this one is the same, I do believe. Oh yeah, so I think these were the ones that I've run to 821 and remembered to save. This one is just like a halfway save, because I wanted to show you kind of what the mid-game might look like at the point of 1630 something, which is barely halfway through the game, a bit less. So at this point, we have some big powers. We still have Bayadia, Mengu Timuria. Europe has started to form power blocks. Again, one of these names that are default have popped up, Provence, so I'll have to rename this one something more Mongol. Same with Kent has popped up. This is what happens. This is why I run overnights, because I need to see these random nations pop up so I can rename them for the sake of immersion. Bayadia doing well for themselves, having unlocked all ideas, I think. Yep. Fighting, well, no immediate super strong neighbors. It looks like Kyrla is pretty strong. Interesting little nation having popped up. This time Japan has not won. It's Orbei has won out with their Tengri monarchy. And America is relatively untouched. Where did the Renaissance start in this one? The Renaissance did start in Scandinavia. Or the rediscovery. So, well, I think the Europeans have been way too busy fighting each other. And seeing as Great Britain is not united in the slightest, they have barely started the colonization. Right, so Cthulhu's landing of Usunha. Oh, this one, yeah. So Usunia has started colonizing North America. Otherwise, they have jumped on the West Indies, of course. And we have New Cornwall here in Guyana. Perfect. And Brazil and Uruguay have started up. Cusco being invaded by Tamachiltgen. Yep, Tamachiltgen is definitely going for it. They want to establish some sort of Peru. And Africa, of course. Coruña is going for Africa. Oh, and the Europeans are doing well for themselves. Under Pierre Sforza. Audegast Niord. Yep. Pretty nice one. And Khatun's land again. The most rare of names. Huelun. Yeah, this is gonna be incredibly interesting to play. I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to start recording really soon. And if I don't have time to start recording soon, I will have my vacation in merely 2 weeks. And that's a vacation for an entire month, and I will do nothing but record. Because I've been longing for some quiet time to record on for quite some time now. The Native Americans have not started expanding yet. It requires another 70 years or something like that before they can start expanding. They can flip religion, but they most likely won't, because they are not exactly pleased with their neighbors. It's gonna be interesting, especially as this is probably gonna be the first mega campaign I do where I don't colonize at all. I really like colonizing, but I doubt that I will colonize. I believe that my game plan is going to be uniting like this area into a big nation and then creating client states towards the end of the game, setting client states up here and there, and I'm probably gonna have some fierce resistance. As you can see, Bayadia is hardly number 1 here. Yeah, Tamachiltgen is number 1, followed by Inalchi, and then Mengu Timuria, Meguderia, Todogen, Kyrla, and Usunia. Yeah, this is gonna be great. I hope you're I hope you are as excited as I am. I could barely speak there for a while. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.